Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine on it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time. Another week. N4G Radio. Episode 612 for July 27th, 2020. And on the show this week, we got the Wombats.
Yep.
And we got Anthony.
Yo.
Yo. MTV Raps. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Damn right.
I did know that.
Whew. Well, we got a show this week. We're going to talk about Xbox.
Okay.
I played a brand new Turok game, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yeah, no, I know that game. It's not that new.
We'll talk about it.
I'm so... Sounds more exciting than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was irritated. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. And I will once again scream at the heavens that quality is better than quantity. So I got a lot of ID games to talk about this week, and I don't have a lot of them to talk about pleasantly. But we'll get this party started quickly with Anthony.
yeah, so we finished up Remember Me. That game, when it wanted to be interesting, did a really good job, but most of the time it just fell back into the smack buttons to beat up guys, and the combat sucked. Towards the latter half, we enjoyed it more. But yeah, that was a thing. I've been playing... I played more Darius. I have to write the reviews. I'm still trying to figure out if I write them... Because it's like, there's so much overlap inside baseball, I suppose. There's so much overlap in these two collections that writing them separately seems like I'm just going to repeat myself a lot, but putting them together, there's enough differences where that's... And they're sold as two different packages. That doesn't make any sense either. So I'm just trying to figure out gonna do what I'm gonna decide on that. But hey, Darius is really good. I played I picked up Hotel Dusk, or again, not picked up, but I actually had it, and I was like, I never finished it, so I'm playing that in my spare time, just kind of bringing it around, playing it on break at work. And then more Ghost of Tsushima. I actually messaged Ryan and said, like, this reminds me a bit of Shadow of the Colossus. Because it's this world that's clearly been lived in and everything had a purpose, which I can't say the same for, like, the only other game that kind of comes to mind, which is Breath of the Wild. Like, a lot of that just kind of felt like it needed to be there. I never felt like I was going in these ruins, you know, even when there was ruins. I'm like, this doesn't feel like it was here for anything other than just to be a place where it visually would be different than the rest of the world. Also, something I realized while I was playing today, actually, was, wow, it's really good when you don't have to worry about weapons breaking, that you can just take on everybody. Because that's what I do. Every time I see Mongols, I'm like, fight me! Like,
Come at me, bro!
yeah, basically. I have the final stance, too, which I love. The moon stance.
Oh, that's not the final one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I have
there's a secret one.
I have the unlockable stance. I finally had a couple duels, and those are some of the best parts of the game.
Hey, Anthony, are you in the second part of the island?
No.
Okay, all right.
The duel for the bow.
The
was
long
my
bow
favorite.
is my
Yeah.
favorite. Until the first two I did, One was the longbow. I was like, this is really awesome.
Yeah.
And then I did the one for the strike. The lightning strike.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the heavenly strike. Yeah.
Heavenly strike. That was a better duel. Because he says a line and it's like, why are you not coming at me or whatever? He's like, I'm learning. And then it tells you just to do it. I'm like, this is exactly this segment. Because I thought I was going to just finish the fight and then he'd have it. No, it makes you do it in that fight. I was like, this is so well done. But like, there's been one mission that I didn't like, which is the forest mission. Like, it was the side mission where there was the folklore tale or whatever, where they're like, people go into the woods and then they disappear. I was like, the outcome of that kind of sucked. It's kind of a letdown. I was hoping it'd be like a single person. But the legend tales are like the ones that are based off like a legend are really neat. There is one mission where you go to a town that's all women. Do you both of you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the one guy there.
The one samurai.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved that. That was so well written.
That's a great mission.
Again, they play with the game mechanics in telling the story, and I was like really impressed by that. So, and then the other thing that I thought of while I was playing this game more was how this is kind of like a really good post-apocalyptic game to some extent. Like, I realize it's not like a nuclear fallout, but like you're just going through just wastelands and dead bodies everywhere that have been slaughtered, and just these burnt out villages. And it's so weird because it's like I can't think of another game where it felt like this has just happened. Like, less so of like, wow, this game is built really well. I'm like, oh shit, like this is ruins. Like, I'm impressed by this game for a lot of different reasons. It's getting stuff right that I'm surprised, because it's not something I would think about. Like the way that I was on the bottom of a cliff on the shoreline today, and then climbing back up. It was so natural because just the way the rocks are formed, you can jump back up, but it doesn't, from a distance, it doesn't look like that. It's funny.
Wait, Anthony, by the way, on the destruction of villages and stuff until you get to the third act.
Okay. Wow.
There's some really cool stuff there.
I like, after you told me to bow at a frog statue, which does absolutely nothing other than just summon a bunch of frogs or whatever, depending on. Have you bowed at the dead bodies?
Yes.
Yeah, where he says something each time.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some pretty fucked up stuff. I've also saw that you can cut off limbs sometimes.
Yeah, with the Heavenly Strike specifically, you can cut it off. Yeah,
and just I didn't know that was a thing, so watching that was brutal.
Well, the final stance lets you do something that will intimidate foes, and it's just
it's
well,
crazy.
I use the perfect parry and the intimidating foes, and there's a spoiler, I suppose. There's a trophy for letting a guy run a bit of it, like as he's fleeing, shooting him with a bow and knocking him down.
Speaking of the duels, I'm going to tell you there's a mythic tale in the second area that's called the Six Blades of Kojiro.
Yes, that's you get armor, right, for that?
You do.
Yeah, because it shows that you get it on that quest. No spoilers.
The entire quest is 6 samurai duels, and they're scattered all throughout the second place in different different settings, and it's really cool the way they pick like the areas where you duel with those guys.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like just the setup of those arenas and the visuals. It
Jacob, sorry guys.
No, it's okay. I'm just letting it sit. Just really enjoying this game still.
It's a really good game.
I can't think of anything I can talk about in detail because I don't want to spoil anything about it. I did like that there's a white dye merchant that you have to find to dye your clothes white, because I've been doing that with all mine. And what else is there? I like the leveling up system. I'm pretty powerful now, but I have a charm that's kind of breaks the game where I heal out of combat. So as long as I can break combat, I can heal.
Yeah.
And then the other one is it makes parries easier to do. So I'm barely getting hit now. I have to be pretty overwhelmed to die. I'm more likely to die by jumping off of something that I shouldn't.
You haven't got the roll yet?
No, because I keep forgetting to take it because I just kept upgrading the stances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The roll
just a tip. The roll doesn't work from all distances.
No,
I
no.
figured.
If
I
it's an
figured.
unrealistic distance, it still won't work, but
Yeah.
it'll give you a pretty nice height you can jump off of.
But yeah, just making it through this game, like it's one of those. Now I'm hoping the next Zelda game doesn't have breakable weapons. That's the biggest takeaway from this, is that like you feel better exploring when you don't have to constantly worry about just everything you have shattering into a million pieces, which was fine. I didn't have an issue with it, but like it at the time, but like playing this now, it's like I'm like, oh, I seem to get in combat a lot more in this, and I'm like, yeah, because everything that I did in the other game, like in Breath of the Wild, I had to worry about stuff breaking, and the only reason why they're comparable in any sense, because otherwise they're very different games with different sort of goals to achieve, is that it's this big open world and there's very little that's you can't access. Even though Jin can't just climb any surface, it is still very similar in the way, like if you see something you can probably get to it. And it's when you're going to have enemies in this world, especially just roaming enemies that are like have a hostage or something, I'm glad I can just take it on without having to worry about like, oh, I'm 4 strikes away from this sword breaking. It's just an interesting thing because it wasn't something I had an issue with at the time, but now in hindsight, I'm like, I really wish that wasn't there. Can I talk about Fight Crab now, Ken?
Oh my god, I don't remember what the date
Yeah,
is.
I forgot, and I realized like, oh, that review might have to be done today.
Let me see. I saw they announced it for no, you can't. Not till the 29th.
Oh, good. I have a couple more days to write a review. Well, watch the trailer.
It's coming to Switch. That's in the
Yeah,
news.
I think it's coming to Switch later though, right?
Yeah, I forget. I just got the PR on Friday. September 15th is when it's
Yeah.
coming to Switch.
I mean, look, the title, besides potentially being a play on Fight Club, is pretty much all you need to know about this game. Watch the trailer, look at the name, and that's all the details you need about it. Yeah, so that's it for me. We're playing Call of Cthulhu. I haven't started it yet, so
The new one?
yeah, the new one, not the Bethesda one.
Okay. I think I played like a minute of that game.
Yeah, Drew played it, and Matt and I have it, and it's on like sale everywhere. The last time I checked, so
It's another Focus Home jam, right?
yes, it's by. Give me a second. I can't remember who made that one. Because it is a Focus Home, but I feel like the devs of this did one of the.
Didn't they do
No,
Sinking? No, that's different.
no,
dev.
that's the reason why I'm like, is it somebody?
It's not their first game.
No, but it was. They did something else. Oh, it's Cyanide Sticks.
Gotcha.
Okay, and they're making.
I like the Styx games. Those were fun.
And they're
Those are pretty good.
Then they did Space Hulk Tactics and a bunch of cycling games, and of course of Orcs and Men, which is where Styx is based from. But okay, that's the reason why. I was like, I know they made they made something else I played. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Wombat, what are you playing right now?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Good choice, man. That's a really good game.
Yeah.
We should spend another 10 minutes on it.
Yeah, sorry for the brief interruption there. My son had to come in to tell me that they won a match in Fortnite, so he was all excited.
No, I totally understood. It was funny. I just, that's the reason why I let it be silent, so we could hear him go, "Hey, got that." Yeah.
They were very excited.
I saw your son was playing Overwatch the other day.
Yep, he loves Overwatch. He and his cousin finally bought it, so now they can play it together. So,
Nice.
Yep. And then this morning he was playing his what are you playing would be much more interesting than mine. He played is it Skatebird?
Oh, Skatebird.
Yeah, which he loves. He thinks is hilarious.
I mean, it's Tony Hawk with little birds. That's
yeah,
pretty
right.
funny.
Exactly. Mine is entirely Ghost of Tsushima, just going through and playing through some missions and cleaning some stuff up and enjoying every minute of what I'm playing. Unfortunately, this is the first opportunity I've had to play since the podcast last week because we've been pretty busy. So I haven't made much progress this week, but I'm not trying to rush through anything. So it's fine with me to kind of take my time and just experience stuff as I go through it. So other than that, I'm trying to think if I've played anything else. Oh, we did. So I mentioned last week that my wife and I were going through the new Super Mario series to gather all the star coins and finish all the star roads. And we did for both New Super Mario Wii and New Super Mario Wii U. So now we're slowly working on New Super Luigi U, but man, that game is hard.
Yeah, that game is very hard.
So that one may be a pipe dream. But
oh snap!
but we're gonna work on it. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I haven't. Other than those, I have not played anything else.
New Luigi U has my favorite character design, which is Nabbit.
Nabbit, yeah.
I don't know why I'm so fascinated by that character, but I just love the design.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, and the Nabbit's a good addition to that game because if you're playing with someone who's not very good, Nabbit can't get hurt by enemies, so it makes the game a lot easier. I saw that in the Switch version they added Toadette as a playable character.
Yeah.
But I don't know what her special skill is.
She turns into Princess Peach if she has the
that's right.
crown.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the reason why we got a bunch of weird fetish drawings.
I don't. Let's leave that alone.
That's a little weird.
People are weird.
But anyway, that's it. I haven't played anything else other than that.
Oh man, that's quick.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I got a bunch of indie games.
More time for you to talk shit. Come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if you want me to talk about my week, I can talk about painting and yard work and all that stuff.
I finally did my yard work. I hadn't done it since 4th of July because there's been no fucking rain.
I know, it's been so hot.
Yeah, and like this is the first time doing it after 4th of July, and man, there are so many firework things in my yard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is now Middle-Aged Man Podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to me talking about mowing my lawn.
Yeah, put some stuff down to kill the weeds and help the grass come in stronger. And been on a watering schedule.
Yeah. We got a garden in the backyard. Yeah. I sawed up an old couch to take to the trash.
That's fun.
Yeah. My son trying to help. I'm like, stay away from the saw.
So I'll tell this story because I can't think of another time in the entire history of the podcast when I'll have an opportunity to do so. But when I was in college, I brought a couch, a love seat, and a chair that were all part of a matching furniture set that my parents had that they were getting rid of. And so I just took it with me to college and put it in our apartment. And between my roommates and myself, we managed to break a leg off of every single one of those pieces of furniture.
Yeah, that sounds
right. So being the resourceful college kids that we were, rather than fixing or replacing the leg on the furniture, we just took all the rest of the legs off.
Yeah.
So all of our furniture was like 3 inches off the ground. So like our couch was just literally about 3 inches off the ground. Your legs would just lay out in front of you when you sat on the couch. The chair was the same way. Love seat was the
I
same
still
way.
heard that because I feel like no seat is built for someone that's my height. Generally, like I end up having my knee either up or like my legs. I don't know. I actually like
Like,
sitting. Like,
take a
down
seat. Like, seriously? Your chair is just like on the ground?
Yeah, well, I don't see a problem with that. Yeah, when I first moved out of my
There you
parents'
go.
house,
Just
I
on the
had a
ground?
mattress. I didn't have a yeah,
Right.
just on the ground. Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't even.
Yeah. Box springs? Come on.
Yeah, what is that crap for? I don't need that. There's a mattress and a blanket and a pillow. We're good.
Next thing you'll try to convince me is that a bed needs a headboard.
What? So I can bang my head on it or something? I don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, life in my early 20s.
Oh yeah, it was so much simpler back then.
I want to just
All right, let's talk
because
about.
you were like kind of upset that we didn't take much time. Because I'm playing Hotel Dusk, I was like, well, I know there's a sequel. I'm enjoying this so far, but the sequel is only released in Europe. So I'm like, wonder how much that is. It used to be like maybe $60, which wasn't too bad because it was kind of the price of a new game, anyways. It's $120 for Last Window, which is the sequel to Hotel Dusk. This is Nintendo sent Sing Out to die, and it's so sad because I own the 3 games that they released in North America, which is Trace Memory, Hotel Dusk, and Again. And Hotel Dusk and Trace Memory both had sequels, and they were never brought, even though they were localized, they were never brought to North America. It irritates the shit out of me. Like, I'll never be able to play another Code R on Wii because I don't have a Wii that can play it. Sorry, just a minor inconvenience.
No, this
something I wanted-
is one of the reasons why I absolutely adore, the way things are now with digital purchases and things being available on like everything. Like that's why I like the Xbox kind of mentality for next gen, where like everything just works.
Well, I mean, I'm glad Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, everything's kind of region free at this point because I think the 3DS was the last holdout. Because Xbox has always been region free. My
Yep.
friend has Puyo Puyo Tetris, a disc version before it came out over here. He got a disc version for Xbox. PlayStation 4 has always been region free as well. So is PlayStation 3. As long as you had an HDMI cable out, you could run PAL games on a PS3. That's how I have of Orcs and Men. But it's irritating you, and then like when stuff gets localized, especially in like, I wouldn't have too much of an issue if it was just Japanese only. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not too much of an issue then. But in a digital storefront world where you don't have to press discs, you translate a game and put it on the European servers in English, or Hong Kong, which is a bunch of them as well, and then there's an English version there, and you just never release it anywhere else in the world. It just doesn't make sense to me. Digitally, physically, I understand, but like it's just it's irritating, especially when it's again a sequel to a game I'm enjoying. Like I loved Trace Memory. It was one of the first games I bought on my DS, and yeah, never be able to play the sequel legitimately. I have to mod a Wii. So,
Yep.
All right, let's roll into the shit. Come on, Ken.
Oh boy, there's a lot of. I'll just go down the list in the order that I played them. So the first thing I played was called Max in the Book of Chaos. This is one of the better games. It's fine. It's a 2D side-scrolling action game. You're a little boy with a gun, shoot some things. The levels are broken down like, here's a level, survive for this amount of time. Enemies will pop out. You shoot them. As you shoot them regularly, you build up like a power meter, which makes your gun stronger. You can pick up little power-ups. It's fine. Nothing overly special about
Is
it.
this related to the other Max games or no?
That's what I thought too, like Max and the Curse of Brotherhood, but
Yeah.
no, like it's not at all.
It just
So
seems weird. Like maybe they were hoping to. I mean,
I
you
mean,
can't
Max and the Curse of the
trademark
Brotherhood
Max.
is an old ass game that not many
Eh,
people remember. So
oh,
you
I
know.
don't know.
All right, the next game I play is called Tannenberg. This is a World War I multiplayer shooter.
Oof. So it's all very slow, right?
Yeah, it's faster than some of the other World War I games I've played. I do want to note that I booted it up and I selected because it literally only gives you two options: you either play offline with bots or you play online with people. There were 500 people playing when I booted it up. That's it. So, I mean, and the maps are huge. So, like, the main mode is like a huge, like, God, how many players was it? Like 60 something. So at most there's like, 10 games, maybe, that you could get into. So yeah, that game is don't look very good either. Like that. Oof. Okay. Rain Swept. So this is a
Point and click, sort of. Yeah.
point and click, yeah, like mystery game, and I wanted to record a clip because the way the dude walks is cracking me the fuck up. Like he's got these little like spaghetti legs, and he just like kind of, and as he's walking, he smokes a cigarette.
It's got the. It kind of looks like a less charming version of Sword and Sorcery.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the character design. Anyways,
yeah, it looks like a kid drew it in
Annoying.
MS Paint, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's again, those kind of games aren't my jam, but it didn't seem like it. I don't know. It didn't seem great. The game that I turned off after 30 seconds. This game is so bad. It's called Allison's Diary Rebirth. It is a horror
Is
game.
that the one that Major Nelson?
Yeah, the one that I quote to don't buy this game. It like so I booted up and it looks like a first person horror game. Those are a dime a dozen, everybody's got one. And I go into the options because I always check my options. So it's got options for like game performance. So it's got low, medium, and high. And the funny thing is you can tell this game is not finished or optimized for console because it's like press the A button or right click to accept the changes. I'm like, well, I can't really right click on my Xbox controller, but okay. The funny thing about the options is I could only, so like, how when you go into an option screen, there's like different options and you can move up and down to pick which different options you're changing. In this game, I couldn't move past the performance one. It wouldn't let me go down. No matter what button I push, whether I tried the right stick, the left stick, the D-pad, different buttons on the face of the controller, I could not pick any other options besides the performance. So,
Quality.
yeah,
Quality performance.
this thing is bad. So I boot the game in. The controls, like, it's one of those games that like it don't look that good. It looks kind of like shit, but it's running at like 2 frames a second. I mean, it's where like you'll pull the stick to look up or down,
And then the vomit
it'll
reduce. Yeah.
it'll stop, and then all of a sudden you're looking up.
Ugh.
Oh,
That's a good way to make me like. That is a good way to make me sick.
and it's funny because the game looks atrocious, so I don't know why it's not running well, other than the fact that it's just poorly built. That game, don't buy that game. Don't even think about buying that game. And you want to talk about even more? So when you load up a game on Xbox and you've got the little square like for the game itself.
Yeah.
For this game, the square is like 10% of the box. Like it's like a little tiny picture inside a bigger box.
Quality.
Yeah. This game is bad. Don't buy this game.
Also, I had the wrong game. I thought Rain Swept was a different game that, again, very clearly the same sort of character and stuff, but it has a pixel art. Rain Swept does not have pixel art. I totally messed those games
No,
up.
it doesn't. It's
I
like
cannot
like I said, it
remember
looks
the
like
game
an MS Paint kind of
Yes.
style.
Vector graphics, yeah.
Yeah. So the next game I played was Turok: Escape from Lost Valley. So this is old.
This has been on mobile phones for a year or
Yeah,
two.
this
Like
is
it's yeah.
definitely a phone game. It's not very good. I don't understand why there's a new Turok game. And
It came out in 2019, so I was gonna say I remember seeing this and going, "This is a Turok game, huh?"
yeah, I mean it's got him in it.
I mean, okay, cool, and it's
I mean,
got dinosaurs.
I didn't find a dinosaur. Oh wait, yeah, I did because there's like little compies running around that you can kill. But the first boss is what they call the Great Big Bear. You're supposed to kill him to get like the hide so you can build like some armor. The controls are real. I struggle with them. Like they're not responsive in the way that you would expect them to be. It is a top-down isometric, very cartoony game. Combat does not feel great. It definitely feels like a phone game that was poorly optimized for a controller. All right, you ready for this one? So the next game I booted up is called Mr. Masagi, the Mayo Edition.
This doesn't seem like it's going anywhere good.
So this, from what I can tell, I was confused because when you boot it up, you get two options. You can play Mr. Masagi or you can play Mayo game. I have yet to play Mayo game because Mr. Masagi kind of threw me for a loop. So it's a dating simulator.
Oh god, it's massage as in massage.
Massage, yeah.
Not oh wow, no.
Your cursor is a giant finger that you use to swipe on their dating app in the game called Linger. And then when you make a match, you go on a date and you've got to pick dialogue choices.
And then they yeah.
Yeah.
You put your controller on your neck is what they say.
Yeah, there's like a screen where it says, and then it shows like somebody else holding the controller. It's like you can put it on your neck or wink wink other places.
And okay, so the Mayo thing is a joke to their last game. Apparently, I'm looking on Steam right now, which was called My Name is Mayo, which is a clicking adventure that simulates the real life tapping of a mayo jar. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's exciting.
You will unveil its story and maybe you will learn from it. And there's like, it's got like an emo wig on. Yeah, you're just tapping in mayo jar. That's it. All right.
Sometimes I don't understand video games.
Okay, I have to describe the sequence. And My Name is Mayo. It's just like a cartoon mayo jar, right? And there's like a hand that's got the index finger pointed out, and it's got a watch on its wrist. And the mayo jar has 2 whipped cream and cherries, where the breast would be, and like what appears to be a leopard skin thong on. It's just a jar of mayo. Should specify that again.
Sure.
Hey, and like
just gonna say, ugh.
Yeah, I played this game. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just
video games, man. They're something else.
Don't worry. You get 20% off if you buy both games on Steam.
I wouldn't recommend you buy either game.
I would no.
All right, I got a good one now. Okay, they weren't all bad. So Rogue Company. I'm sure you've seen people talk about this game. It's the news.
Is it a Rogue game?
No, it's
I'm sorry, what?
Let me see. Kind of makes a Counter-Strike with a Overwatch, like Valorant. The thing is that apparently this game is going to be free to play. It's built by Hi-Res Studios, the guys that make Smite. And it actually is really pretty good. It's fun. The characters are interesting. The combat feels good. At least on Xbox One X, it runs, at 60 FPS. Looks real sharp. It has built-in cross-play right out of the box. So, yeah, I actually like this game. So maybe when right now you have to pay to get into whatever the early, you know how they do that free to play game. You want to play it a couple weeks early, you pay the $15 or whatever, and you get the early version. But eventually, I guess it will be free to play. And I think it's pretty good, and it seems to be picking up some steam. People seem to like it. So that one was good. The next one is this week's Radaleka Jam, and it's called Jisei the First Case HD, and it is a visual novel. And I just
They
kind
are
of watched
fine
it.
purveyors of crap, huh?
Yeah, I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I was like, all right, okay, no, it's fine. The next game, also not bad, called Creeks, developed by the guys who made Machinarium.
Showa Creeks. Yeah.
Oh,
just creak it on
oh, wow.
the down low.
I did not know they had a new game out.
Yep.
Amanita. Holy shit.
Called Creeks, and it's very much one of those like
Shit.
puzzle games, side-scrolling puzzle games.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't know that was out. God damn it.
Yeah, it's not bad. Very similar art style to Machinarium.
Yeah.
Got that kind of brown and gray, desolate look to it. So that one's a good game. That's a decent game. And then I played Lunchapalooza, which is a multiplayer game where you play a food item and you got to smash bros it, knock them out of the arena, kind of thing.
Okay. What?
And it sucks. Like
Oh, no shit. It didn't sound good.
the control is just awful. An awful game. I played a hand. I
And
played
based
a blue.
on your description, I expected it to be tremendous.
I was a blue hamburger fighting a purple corn on the cob.
Oh, come on. At least have the characters all be different types of sandwiches or some shit.
Nope, they're all different kinds of food. There's a hamburger, corn. There's some unlockable foods that I will never unlock. So
No. God damn it. It's not a bad idea, but you would call that game Food Fight?
didn't they already make a food fight?
Well, fuck. I don't know. I don't think anyone
I
can
feel like
trademark that
food
name.
fight already exists.
Yeah, I don't think you could trademark that, though.
Yeah, it exists on Atari 7800.
I thought it did.
Hmm.
Next game I played is Aircraft Evolution. This is a 2D side-scrolling aircraft game where the plane is constantly moving, and then how do I describe this? So like the controls are like when you press up, like you just start kind of going, like you angle in that direction, like you basically just angle your plane. And think of it like a reverse, what's the game? Defender, where instead of trying to shoot the stuff in the air, you're trying to shoot the stuff on the ground. It's fine. That's legitimately about the best I can give you for that one. Like, there's nothing special about it. There's nothing overtly exciting about it. It's just kind of there. The next game is weird as fuck. It's called Liquid Sunshine. It is a black and white game where... Let me see if I can describe. So, you start the game with these comic panel cutscenes that you can manipulate to make look 3D with the right analog stick. It's a monkey, a horse, and something else. And then the game itself is basically a side-scrolling puzzle game where you just move from left to right, solving these little puzzles like jump puzzles, bridge puzzles, rope puzzles. Eventually, when you get to the second level, the horse joins you, and then you can use the two characters together to do different puzzles, like boost the character up to higher levels, or kick things, or it's just one of those side-scrolling puzzle games. So, and then I played Carrion as well. And I totally see where you were coming from, Anthony, with the way the controls are kind of awkward to grab people. But I really like the way that character moves.
Oh, the movement is great. It's the trying to eat things that was the pain in the ass. That's where I was like having the issue where it's like you need to eat stuff, but it's so not fun to do that part where like the movement through the level is so awesome. And like it makes sense when you're grabbing stuff and throwing it around that you kind of move the way you do. But then it was like trying to pull that stuff into you to eat. I was like, all right, this is kind of where it's losing me.
So one of the things I kind of noticed about this game as well is, and I don't know if it's like you seeing the seams of the way it's built, but like the areas that you are in are very tiny, and you are constantly moving from one area to the next through like a black transition. Like I literally went through like 6 or 7 areas where I did nothing but move. Like the world doesn't flow like a normal kind of side scroller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't fully know what the setup of that game is because I only played the demo.
I think it's a Metroidvania at
Is
some
it?
point.
Yeah. Like I felt like because I was moving through in the demo an area and like clearly I'm just moving in one part of it, but I'm assuming I can come back to it later.
Yeah, I feel
you
like
see like scientists off to the side, but I'm like, well, I can't do anything with them right now.
yeah, you do a lot of that very early on. Like I think I made it to the 3rd or 4th save point, and I really hadn't done much but move. It's kind of a weird start to the game. Like you think they would kind of immediately just throw you into killing people, but I haven't killed a lot of people in the game so far. I spent most of my time moving through little vents and stuff. So I'm assuming that changes the further you get into it, but
I'm
it is
wondering if
a...
it's paced differently in the demo.
I don't know. Well, it's on Game
Are you a
Pass,
big?
so
Are
if
you
you
a
want to
big?
play it...
Okay, well then maybe I'll give it a shot because like in the demo, I got pretty big pretty quick.
Yeah, you do get very big very
okay.
quick in the beginning, but you don't really do anything.
Huh.
Like the first half hour of that game, I think I killed maybe 4 people. And that just doesn't seem like what they were selling that game as. And I'm sure, like I said, it changes the further you get in. I've only played like a half hour of it, so. But I don't know. Excuse me. But then I actually picked up some older games that I kind of want to go back to. I reinstalled Destiny since they're bringing the expansion packs, so I might give that another whirl. And then I started playing through One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 because that game is pretty good. And I've played Overwatch. And I'm thinking about finishing up some Yakuza since Yakuza Kiwami 2 is out this week on Game
Hey,
Pass.
So I was going to ask that question.
Yeah.
What's the proper order for that series?
Yakuza?
Yeah, because there's Zero and then there's Kiwami
Zero
as
is
well.
Zero is the first game, and it was made after all the other ones. It's kind of like a precursor.
Prequel?
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, like if you wanted to play it in an order that made game sense, like the actual way it plays, I think it's 3, 4, 5, Kiwami 0, Kiwami 2, 6.
yeah, but you don't want to do that because this game's about story.
Right, story. So you have to play 0, Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Like a Dragon is out this fall, but it's a separate story.
Yeah.
0 through 6 is the story of the main character.
Kazuma Kiryu.
Yeah, Kazuma.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought about at some point playing those games, but then I thought because they're free on Game Pass, right? But then
yeah, because 0 and Kiwami are out. Kiwami 2 is out this week.
yeah, and then I thought, yeah, but I don't even know where to start. So that helps me.
Start with 0, and here's the thing: those games are super fucking long. So make sure you like them before you decide I'm going to keep playing them.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, 0 is incredible. It's the only one I played a little bit of 6. I didn't play a ton, but I've played through most of 0 once. I think I'm going to finish it and then start on Kiwami because Kiwami 2 is out this week. So I might go back and play some more of that. And I'm playing Destroy All Humans. I can either talk about it and push the podcast back to 11, or I can just talk about it next week. Destroy All Humans. Which, by the way, for my review, I did reinstall the original because it's backward compatible on Xbox.
Yep.
And I did a little. That first game holds up okay.
I figured
only
it
one that
would.
holds.
I mean, it's not. It's more about art style than anything else. So
Yeah, it's fine.
It's the only one that holds up okay, right? Like all the other
I
ones are
haven't
kinda
played the
meh.
other ones recently, so I couldn't tell you. I know the
Well,
Big Willie was kind
the
of bad.
Big Willie Unleashed didn't hold up when it was made.
Yeah,
that's the Wii one.
Yeah.
And then there's Path of Furon, which didn't do well either.
no.
I think the first two. I can't remember what the second one's called. The second
Destroy
one's got
All
a
Humans
subtitle
2?
too.
No?
It doesn't
Yeah,
have a
I
subtitle.
think it was just
No.
2.
Okay, the first two I feel like were pretty good, and then I feel like it just kind of fell off a cliff from there.
Back in the days when THQ was running shit into the ground.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, this was Pandemic, no less.
Yeah.
Rest
Yeah,
in
the
You know
first one.
You know what game somebody asked me about the other day, and I thought, oh shit, I haven't thought about that series in forever. Was Mercenaries.
Yeah, Pandemic's other jam.
Yeah.
That first game was a nice, blueprint for a cool idea. The second one was better, but there were some issues with it that, if you went back to it now, you'd have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But I
That
think
game
if that
breaks it.
game
Airstrike.
would have gotten, if it had got another chance, I think it'd have been cool.
I think so too. I really liked the second game. I liked the fact that you could, in a helicopter, hook a tank to your helicopter and then just fly around swinging the tank into buildings and stuff.
Yeah, that was cool.
I feel like that game had its lunch eaten by Just Cause.
It did
Specifically Just
eventually.
Cause
Yeah,
2,
Just Cause was basically the not perfection, but the
Logical next step.
yeah. It basically took the series' potential in a lot of ways and made it real.
Successor.
Yeah.
But Just Cause is so funny because the first game is not very good.
No, the first game's terrible.
The second
I mean-
game is almost perfect. It's a wonderful game. The third
very
game
good.
is bad.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah,
And I didn't play the fourth game, so
the fourth game is. It's kind of like a refined 3. It's still not great.
My father liked 4. He played Just Cause 2 to completion as much as I think the only thing he didn't do was drive every car. 3
Just
times.
Cause 2 was fucking
So,
incredible.
He's
Yeah,
played
it's a
that
great
game
game.
fully 3 times. He was okay with 3, but he was impressed by 4. So I don't know.
I couldn't get into 4, and 4's issue for me was the direction of how you progress in that game is so fucking convoluted. I still don't know that I understand how you progress in that game. I really don't. I boot it up every 6 months or so, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to get back into this because it's a pretty game, and I like the grapple hook stuff, and I start playing it, I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't know what it's like. Push the armies back and expand the territory. I was like, how? I don't think I get. The game does not do a good job of just.
Yeah, if the
explaining.
answer isn't blowing shit up, then I don't know.
Exactly. In Just Cause 2, what's the thing you did? You blew up the red and white shit. That's what you did. Everything that
You're
was
a
red and
human
white.
bull with the guns.
Yeah,
You
just
see
blow
red,
that shit
blow
up,
that
man.
shit up.
It's sometimes it's okay to just be simple and to the point. Don't try to get all complicated. That's why I didn't like 3 was the whole fucking grapple hook loadout bullshit that got way too complicated. I don't know. I'm getting old. I just like my shit to be simple. You know what I mean? Just tell me what to do. Ghost of Tsushima was the first game that didn't have a waypoint that I was like, okay, I understand how I'm supposed to do this because they did it well. But most of the time, I do want the big flashing fucking arrow. Hey, go here, dumbass. So, anyway, that's it. Let's talk about what's coming out this week. There's a few things. Quite a few things, actually. If you are so inclined, you can play Ty the Tasmanian Tiger HD. Okay, moving on. Space Channel 5 VR, kind of funky news flash. Space 39 Miku pack.
Yeah, don't. That's all I have to say. Is that game's not, unless it's free, that game is not enough content for the price tag. It was good, but $40 or $30 or whatever the fuck it was for literally a 30-minute campaign. It took me an hour to do everything, So, it's rough. And they're selling that game physically for $40 or whatever too.
I mean, yeah, of course, it's all based on the nostalgia
I
of
know.
Ooh La La.
It's just disappointing because I really liked the game, but then it was so short that I can't suggest it.
We've got Cuber's Arena, Destroy All Humans, Escape Game Fort Boyard. What happened to Fort Boyardee? Head Snatchers, Lost Wing, Maid of Skur. That's a horror game. You can tell just by the name. Other Side, which looks incredible but is not my kind of game. It's a tactical RPG. Not my jam. But visually, art style wise, you should look at the trailer. That game looks rad. Pistol Whip, Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collections finally making its way over to consoles. It's been on PC for like a month. Skater XL finally out. The Sims 4 Nifty Knitting. Buried Stars. Hellpoint. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost On. That's a mouthful. Next DLC for Neo 2, Tingu's Disciple. Nowhere Prophet. Streets of Rage 4 from Merge Games. So that's a physical copy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's the physical copy that was announced right after the open pre-order for the limited run version closed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Castle Storm 2, Cat Quest, and Cat Quest 2, the Possum Pack. The Mummy Demastered.
That's the physical version.
Yeah, again. And Fairy Tale. Remember that game? It's finally coming out.
No, I don't. What is that?
It's the Namco Bandai game based on the anime.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
It's out this week. Xbox, we've got Grounded. It's coming out this week.
I'm excited.
Y'all got
for
Game
that.
Pass. I suggest y'all check it out. I think it's a neat game. The Tourist. Yakuza Kiwami 2. Heroes of Hammerwatch, the Ultimate Edition. And Swim Out. Swim Out.
I've been wanting to play The Tourist for a while, but it was Switch only, so I'm glad it's coming to Xbox.
It is on its way to the box. Switch, we've got Cubicity, Ageless, Hover, Interrogation, You Will Be Deceived, Mega Dimension Neptunia 7, Rugby Challenge 4, They Breathe, Hoshi O Miro Hito, Hotel Souls, Kingdom Rush, Locomotion, Merchant of the Skies, Sentinels of Freedom, Spiral Memoria, The Summer I Meet Myself, Dodo Peak, Foot Goal Tiki Taka, Geo Rifters, Hamster Bob, Lost Wing, Not, Nicole, Paint Your Pet. What the fuck? The Executioner and Tiny Racer.
I didn't know if that list was ever going to end.
It feels that way when you start running down all the shit coming to the Switch, man. Whew. All right, let's do some news. We've got a lot to talk about. The Xbox event was this week. Let me see if there's other things to kind of dig through before I talk about that. Twitch is... the U.S. Army has reportedly stopped streaming on Twitch amid controversies of recruitment. So there is that. That was a thing that happened this week.
I just love the way that they're like, we're having a raffle or whatever. It was like, sign up and you can win. Yeah, sign up for the military to win. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this news is just dominated by Xbox, so maybe we should just talk about it. So Xbox had their event on Thursday. The pre-show was very exciting. They announced Dragon Quest XI coming to Xbox this fall, coming to Game Pass.
Dragon
so
Quest 11S.
Yes, so it's the Switch version with the extra.
Up-resed with all the extra content.
So it was announced for Xbox that it's coming there. It's coming to Game Pass, which is huge. It's also coming to Steam and PS4, but they're making you pay full price for it instead of it being an upgrade.
Because if you look at the graphics, it's not the same game. It's
That's
literally the
fine,
Switch version.
but that is still a
you're right.
shitty thing.
You're absolutely right, but it's like you're not even getting the highest quality models out of this because it had to be a different game to be able to switch back and forth. Like, it's very odd. The whole thing is just an odd release.
It is. It coming to Xbox was huge because Dragon Quest has not been on Xbox. It coming to PS4 was expected. It's just kind of shitty that you don't even get like a discount for having owned it or something. I don't know. I'm glad it's coming to Game Pass because I don't have to pay for it. You know. Although it's very weird, it's not out till December. I guess that's when the exclusive thing ends. Because you can literally already pre-install it on your Xbox if you want. I did. This is gonna sit there for fucking 5 months or whatever, 4 months. They also announced a new game from Square Enix, developed by the guy who made Knights and Yuji Naka. It's called
Both of them
Banal.
worked on Knights, right?
Did Naka work on the first?
Yeah,
Knights?
yeah. Yuji Naka made the engine, I believe, and that when they were making, God, sorry, I'm about to nerd it. When they were making Sonic Extreme, which was supposed to be the 3D Sonic game for Sega Saturn, it was I think 2 American companies, and one of them was doing from the ground up work where Chris Sen was the main programmer. He got sick, so that one shut down, and the other team was using the Knights engine. And I believe it was Yuji Naka who saw it and said, absolutely not. Because he didn't want American using the engine. That's what it says in the Sonic book I have, I believe.
I don't doubt you. I don't know. I'm just...
maybe I have it wrong. Someone will correct me. This is the internet.
But this is a new game, and I have to admit, the name is awkward because everybody's mispronounced it already. It's called Banal Wonder World, right?
Balan
Wonder World, sorry. See, again, even I messed it up, and I knew that people had been messing it up. Most people are calling it Wonderland instead of Wonder World. Balan Wonder World. I'm never going to say that name right when somebody asks me about that game.
I definitely wrote that down as Balan Wonderland. So, yep.
Yeah, it's Balan Wonder World. It's not land.
All right, well,
Even I think Keeley said Wonderland during the pre-show. So that's a game coming. It definitely has that Knights art style.
It's got, well, I mean, the weird top-hatted character looks like Knights.
Yeah.
But it looked like a mix between like all of Yuji Naka's stuff, like Sonic, a little bit of Knights, and a little bit of Rodea the Sky Soldier.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm excited. It's my thing. So
yeah, I mean that game is super interesting. It's weird to see those two announcements in the beginning because they're kind of, I mean, they're not big if we're talking a PlayStation show. You know what I mean?
Right. But
those two things are
after.
huge. Yeah, those two things are huge for Xbox. So then we get to the actual show. There was a couple other games in the pre-show. Some of them were already announced. Some of them were new. I don't necessarily remember all of the things that happened in the pre-show. And the Xbox show kicks off with Halo.
Yeah, looked like Halo.
That is the thing. I get the issues people have, but I also thought it looked fun, which is what I cared about.
Which is what the last two Halos didn't have.
It definitely looks fun. It looks like a Halo game for sure, but what it does not look is next gen.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't.
It is absolutely not the game that you should put first in your showcase for next gen hardware.
So
I don't think it has a good spot anywhere, though, if it looks like that, to be honest.
Let's so I read an article about this the other day, and after having time to kind of sit and think about this, I feel like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are all having a very different approach to the way this next generation is going to
I
work.
read the same article. I thought it was very good.
Yeah. Like, Microsoft doesn't care if I buy an Xbox Series X. I don't think they care, because Halo is a game that I could play if I didn't buy it. And it would look just as good as it did in that presentation. Like, my Xbox One will run it just fine. And yes, I agree with you. That looks bad if you're trying to sell a new console, but I really am not sure Microsoft is trying to sell that console. At least I hope to God they're not.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just the whole, like I said on Twitter, this whole generation for Xbox is very strange, because the entire conference was showing me games for, but that I don't have to buy the console to play, and that
There's
I
a couple
also
that
don't
you do,
have to
though.
pay for.
There's a couple that you do have to buy a new console to play. That they
The ones for
clarified that.
next year. The ones for next year. But the decision is not what console am I buying permanently, because I, like every generation, will own both. The question is, which one do I buy this year? And clearly, it's Xbox doesn't care if it's theirs, and that's fine. I mean, if that's their strategy, that's fine. But it's just it's very odd. They're not behaving like a company that has hardware coming out this year.
No, they're not. And the thing is I think they're more interested in you having a Game Pass subscription, which at this point they've won that war. Most people are getting a Game Pass subscription.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's what they care about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just wonder. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It seems like, I just wonder how many new Game Pass subscribers you're going to get from Halo, Forza, and Fable, when there are already games for all three of those that you can play on Game Pass. Now, I know new entries are different, but I just don't know. Like, it seems like if you're the type of person that is really excited about a new Halo, a new Fable, or a new Forza, you probably already have Game Pass.
Well, let's talk about this. Forza and Fable are not on Xbox One.
Right.
They're only on Series X.
True. But they don't come out till next year.
Exactly. 2022. Well, it'll be 2022, technically.
Oh, I thought Forza was next year.
No. From what I understand, Forza is Series X, and the way that they've described it is any game that is only Series X will not be out till 2022.
Got it.
So that included that, Fable, and Everwild. Everwild's Xbox One tag was removed. So it is only
a rare game.
Yes, that is only Series
X. That game
X.
that I didn't know what the hell was going on in it.
I still don't know. You know what I think it is? I think it's a 4-player adventure game.
Okay.
That's what like a Sea of Thieves kind of, which would make sense because the Sea of Thieves, whether or not we liked it, that game did fucking gangbusters for them.
Hey, they another game that was made better over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad
my
people
son
like
and his friends play Sea of Thieves almost daily.
Yeah, like that game is huge for Rare. Whether or not and most of the people I know, like you guys and on the show, and most people I talk to, we don't dig that game, and that's fine. Maybe that game's not for us, but
yeah, the Game Pass did more for that game than anything else because it's on Game Pass. All of my son's friends that have an Xbox own it, so they can all play it together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's what Microsoft is doing looks bad right now. When you're trying to, if you were trying to sell a new console.
If you're trying to sell a new console.
Yeah, it looks bad. But in 2 or 3 years, we're probably going to look at this and be like, God damn, that was brilliant. Like, they're just trying to get people in the ecosystem. In 2 years, when, these new games are available, like Forza and Fable, like, you could probably buy, because we all know the Series S is real. At this point, it's real. That thing's probably going to be like $200, $250 at then. And you'll be able to buy it and play Forza or Fable if you have Game Pass, So,
yeah.
I don't know. Like it's really chancing, right? It's really dangerous right now.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. If the strategy right now is get as many people on Game Pass as you can, then I agree with you. I think they're doing the right things right now. But the challenge is that means you're banking on the games that you put on Game Pass being good enough for the next year and a half or 2 years that people will say, man, I now have to upgrade so I can play these new games that are on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, maybe it's cheaper. Like,
could be.
I'm going to buy. So you look at it like this fall, Xbox is not going to have a problem selling out. Let's be frank about that. Okay, launch systems always sell out.
Sure.
Unless you're the Wii U, then you don't sell.
Unless you're the Xbox One.
The Xbox One sold out the first couple weeks.
Oh no, they did not. Not here.
Well, Canada don't count. You know that.
Ah, okay.
No, what I'm saying is launch consoles, people like me, we always buy them. Sony, if they put out 10 million units this fall, will sell 10 million units. That's just the way it is. Whatever Microsoft puts out, it will sell. The people that are going to buy it in the long run that make it count aren't going to buy it until it's at least $100 cheaper and 1 or 2 years into its cycle. That's when you're going to sell the most consoles. So I don't know. I looked back at this and I go, Microsoft's show had a bunch of really great games in it. A lot of diversity, a lot of interesting titles. None of them that are going to be available within the next year are going to sell me a console because that console's not required to play them. That was their mistake. Or maybe that was their plan. I don't know. Because there is nothing, if I was not a huge Xbox guy and needed the most powerful to run my games that I currently have, there's no reason for me to buy Series X this fall. None. Zero. Nothing. Now, to be fair, Sony has one game that I don't necessarily have to have this fall. So not even they are selling me on the PS5. They have one game. So I don't like it's exactly what I tweeted. I feel like neither one of these companies are really giving me a good reason to buy one this fall, but at the same time I feel like Microsoft doesn't care if I do or not. Whereas Sony most definitely cares.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so it's the I'm excited to play. Well, let me put it this way: I'm excited to play some of the stuff that they showed. Some of it, honestly, it didn't really appeal to me, but I'll be playing it on my Xbox One at least in the short term. Which again, I think it sounds like exactly what they want me to do. If that's their strategy, yeah. I mean, you can't define winning based on someone else's expectations. If Microsoft's expectations are boost Game Pass sales, then hopefully this will do the trick. Again, I'm a little bit skeptical on how the stuff they showed will boost Game Pass sales because most of those franchises, if people are huge fans of them, they probably already have Game Pass. But hopefully those things will continue to grow organically, and then, like you said, in a couple of years, it'll make a difference.
Yeah, I think not only it may not necessarily just be getting new people in, but keeping old people retention. Because all of these games going forward, everything they showed in that conference will be playable on Game Pass.
Yep.
So
yeah, which is excellent.
Yeah, so like if you want to play the new Warhammer 40K game that was announced, that's going to be on Game Pass. A Tetris Effect, The Medium, Stalker 2, the new game from the SteamWorld guys. All of that stuff will be in Game Pass. And while they don't want to say it right now, I would almost guarantee you that Cyberpunk eventually comes to Game Pass.
I mean, Witcher came to Game Pass, so
yep.
I would think that's a pretty good bet. I wouldn't bet on it
launch
until later. But
yeah,
I would guess eventually it probably will.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
It's definitely. I mean, the ecosystem is definitely appealing over there. And depending on the level of third-party support that they get in Game Pass, it does make the console more appealing because, now, some of those third-party games that I might have to buy elsewhere just come in my Game Pass subscription. I think probably the level of third-party support that they can get in that service over the next 2 years will make or break that console. I don't think their exclusives at this point are necessarily going to move the console. I think it's going to depend on third-party support in Game Pass.
Yeah, we definitely need to see more from those studios because they did announce a couple things. Like it kind of went under the radar, but the former Quantic Dream devs are making a narrative-driven game. Obviously, we're all excited for Psychonauts 2. That'll be in Game Pass, but I really want to see.
Pumped for that.
Yeah, I really want to see what those guys are doing next because Psychonauts 2 got moved to 2021. So, how can we not talk about Avowed?
Yeah.
Obsidian's new RPG that is Series X only and coming to Game Pass.
Avowed, which is Obsidian going, all right, well, we did Fallout. We've done our own futuristic version. Let's do
Skyrim.
Elder Scrolls. Yeah.
Let's do Skyrim, yeah. So, I want to see what I want to. Let's be fair. I want to fucking see Hellblade.
I'm interested in seeing Avowed because it's already got pre-established lore. Because it's based on, was it Pillars that was theirs?
Is Pillars Obsidian?
I think it's Pillars of Eternity that's theirs, yeah.
Yeah,
God.
Pillars of Eternity is them.
Yeah, it's the same world as Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, it's Microsoft owns 2 or 3 RPG developers that kind of make the same games, and I get them confused sometimes.
Well, I can never remember if they also did Tyranny.
There's also Wasteland, which I can't remember who makes that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they only make Wasteland though.
Okay, I'm just. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm excited to see, but when you watch that show, and you go, well, where is it? Where's that game? Where's that big shocking thing? You remember we were talking about, I heard the rumor about Capcom, and I heard the rumor about Ninja Gaiden, and there was none of that.
Rumors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was
true.
a very predictable conference.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the the Fable announcement. It was the trailer was kind of cool. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's at this point I have no idea what kind of game it is, and the name Fable doesn't sell me on anything anymore.
Yeah.
So there's no. It's not like this is going to be, and people are going to accuse me of fanboying here, and I promise that's not what it is. But when Sony showed the sequel to Horizon, right? It's very easy for me in my head to connect what they showed with the stuff that I loved from the first game. Mm-hmm. There's nothing in that Fable trailer that allows me to connect anything to the older Fable games. And that might be okay because, quite honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the older ones. I should say, I wasn't a huge fan of the last couple older ones. The first one was, decent for its time. So I wasn't excited about that as a show closer at all. No. And then afterwards, when they kind of came out and there were rumors that it might be an MMO or something along those lines, it kind of muddies the water.
Even though it was debunked 2 seconds later.
I think it should be an expectation, and I'll probably get some heat for this, but I think, and I felt the same way about the Sony conference, and I complained about the Miles Morales reveal for the same reason. I think there should at least be a minimum expectation that when you announce a new game, that you're also prepared to tell people what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like when they announced Miles, and not in the conference, right? I don't need them to pop up a window in the middle of the trailer to tell everybody what it is, but they should at least immediately afterwards come out afterwards and say, This is a third-person action RPG open world, and boom, that's it. That's all I need to know, right? Or with Miles Morales, they could have come out and said, this is a standalone story in the Spider-Man universe, using an upgraded version of the first game's engine. Boom, that's the explanation. There's too much. They're leaving too much to speculation, and a lot of times that's causing negative reactions instead of positive reactions.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it was a weird conference, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a ball with Halo. I am absolutely sick of seeing all these people post the same 2 screenshots and be like, this isn't next year. I get it, I do. But you know what? Last of Us 2 was the best looking game I've ever seen. It bored me to fucking tears through most of it.
Let me just use Halo 5 as an example. I don't give a shit about graphics. Halo 5 and Halo 4. Wow, I don't know why I keep adding L's to that. Floor and Flive. My
favorite entries.
They looked great in comparison, but boy, did I just not. I bounced off of them so quickly. And it's okay, I get it, they want to innovate and look better, but like the enemy design didn't benefit from that in the slightest. The world looked nicer, the characters looked more like people when they had their helmets off, but it didn't have the same charm. And I'm not saying that this game is going to have this, but this game looks like Halo 3. I love Halo 3.
It does. So I will agree with you, it does. I will also say, though, that the reason I think that you're seeing so much consternation about the way it looks and the pop in and that kind of stuff, which, listen, a pop in is probably just going to continue to be kind of a given in open world games for a long time. Now, the hope is that SSD kind of helps with some of that, but it's just kind of going to be the nature of the beast. But the reason you're seeing so much criticism around that is, number one, Halo is, without question, their number one franchise.
Yep.
Number two, it's been in development for, 6 years?
5 years, yeah.
And number three, 343 has a lot to prove.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely they do.
So there are certain developers, right, that people will give the benefit of the doubt to because of what they've accomplished in the past, right?
343 ain't proof shit yet.
343 is not one of those developers. They're just not. And I appreciate the fact that the game will probably be fun, and it looks like it will probably be fun. But I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Halo 5 looked like it was going to be fun too.
Yeah, I will make my decision based come November, which we'll talk about in a minute. But
I think my issue with it is that the people complaining, if Halo fans complained and Xbox fans complained, I'd be like, yeah, you're going to engage with this, and it's fine to look at this and go, I'm kind of disappointed. But it's not that. It's my box is better. Okay.
Yeah, well,
you're not going to engage with it anyways. It doesn't concern you.
At this point, you're basically making the entire point of this podcast since episode 1.
No, I know. I know. I'm repeating stuff that it's just disappointing that, like, on one hand, I go, yeah, it doesn't look great, but if I do that, it validates their argument, which is shit, because of it being for the wrong reasons. Not everybody, but a lot of them. But if I deny it, I'm lying, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, you can...
As the best ever, that's fine.
You can come to the same conclusions with different reasons for why you've come to those conclusions.
It's the internet.
Watching that Halo trailer, there were parts of it I was really encouraged by as someone who loved the series. I mean, loved the series.
Yep.
There were parts of it I was encouraged by. And there were parts of it that I thought, man, this just doesn't look like what I expected the series to turn into. That said, I like Ken, am willing to give it the benefit of the doubt for now until November when we actually get a chance to play it. Visually, it does not look good. But, visuals aren't really my number one priority. It's about playing a game that's fun and feels like Halo. If the rumor is true that multiplayer won't be ready at launch, that's a huge
That's already been disproven. Don't
Okay,
feed
good.
that.
Good.
Yeah, no. The only thing that won't be available at launch is ray tracing. That has been confirmed.
Now,
I don't even know what that is.
That's another fancy graphical effect.
Oh, ray tracing. I thought you said rage racing. I was like,
Well,
what is
if
rage
they
racing?
put Rage Racer and Halo Infinite Game of the Year.
Yeah. Ray tracing, I heard that wasn't confirmed.
Yeah, no,
So,
all of these rumors, this is what Anthony's talking about. All of these rumors that are coming out about these games, like Fable being an MMO and Halo not having one, it's all bullshit built up by the internet that is not, there was no foundation for any of that information.
and then people
Well, that's
get
good to
upset
hear.
when stuff isn't true.
Yeah, and people run with it.
How dare this Nintendo Direct not have the things I wanted? Motherfucker.
Oh yeah, the
There's
response
some
to
guy
that
on
Nintendo
4chan.
Direct were hilarious. I'm like, what did you expect? They
told you.
called it a
They-
mini.
Yeah, they told you to temper expectations. Why wasn't Metroid announced? Man, I don't know. Because you touch yourself at night. That's the best answer. Like, holy crap.
I mean, the internet already believes that the next Sony event's happening August 5th because, that one guy tweeted it, right?
It's
Right.
just it's insufferable. And listen, there's some people that seem to know more. So don't get me wrong. There's people that tend to be right quite a bit, but like these are generally these are from like randos. Like no.
well, the Halo rumor that I saw came from someone that generally I have trusted. So to know that that's been debunked is good.
Yeah, it literally took like 10 seconds before the developer was like, nah, that's bullshit.
The thing
Okay, good.
the thing that people aren't talking about is that this Halo game seems to be a prequel to Halo.
Yeah, I've seen it labeled as like a soft reboot.
Yeah, because they
Basically wanting to get rid of 4 and 5 because I heard it was a reboot of 3.
4 and 5's story
Are
I didn't know
bad?
yes, I didn't know what they were
Yeah.
building up to. So it was like, 6 better fucking wrap this up in some interesting way. And then Halo Infinite's like, Reach just fell. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, I suppose this is where we're going now. But
Because the top brass at Microsoft went to 343 and they're like, y'all done fucked up this story. We need to go back.
So I remember starting up 4 and going, this kind of reminds me of like a less interesting Metroid Prime. Because like all the enemies kind of felt like Metroid Prime enemies, the way they moved and everything. I was like, I don't know if I like this.
There's a very good reason why the best Halo game on the Xbox One is the Halo Master Chief Collection, okay? It ain't
Which
Halo
does
4.
include 4.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it came with 4.
It has 4.
Does it have 4? It
Yeah.
doesn't have 5. That's
It
what
doesn't
it
It
have
is.
does
5.
not have 5, no.
Okay, well,
ODST
then
and
scrub
Reach.
out- So trade 4 for Reach and ODST, and then that's why it's the best
Which
one.
are there, and you get 4 as well. So don't play 4 and play.
Don't play 4. 4 is not a good video game.
It's not, but it's better than 5.
Yeah.
It is better than 5, but that bar is very low.
No, it's
5 that decided to be Call of Duty with jets. And
Oh,
like,
God,
Call
I
of
played
Duty
through...
plays better than this.
I played through Halo 5 twice and hated it worse the
I never
second time.
finished the story. I said,
Oh, it's
I'm
bad.
just gonna jump into
It's-
multiplayer, and then multiplayer. I'm like, this doesn't feel like Halo multiplayer.
They
so I don't know what I'm doing.
decided that game feels like they saw what Mass Effect did and what Assassin's Creed did with like the precursor race stuff.
Ugh.
And they decided that the precursor race was the most intriguing part of that series, and
No,
it
who-
absolutely 100% was
What
not.
was the other series?
Yeah.
You said Mass Effect and what?
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, you know who did it before that? Metroid.
Well, sure.
Jack and
yeah.
Daxter. And you know what?
100 games have done it before.
But neither of those. Like the reason why I said Metroid Prime was just the way the enemies moved, like the weird precursor enemies that could like transform, sort of to move. Like kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, this would have been great in Metroid Prime, where the lock mechanic happens, where you could just hold a button and you'd follow the enemy automatically. I'm like, this doesn't work in this. It was a weird, and then the extra abilities, but they hadn't fucked up the shooting in Halo 4. like they did with Halo 5. I don't know.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to Halo. It sounds
I
like
need
I'm
it to
not.
be
I
good.
just,
There hasn't been a good Halo since Bungie
Yeah.
quit making it.
and so
Yeah,
let's talk.
that's a good way to put it. I
Yeah.
I am incredibly hopeful that the game turns out well, but my confidence level isn't high based on
Yeah.
the developer's recent track record on Halo games.
Yeah.
I will tell you this right now, 100%. If Halo Infinite is a bad video game, 343 is fucking done.
Done.
They're done. Quite honestly, the series is probably done for a while.
And it's
Yeah.
funny because
Leave
I
it
feel
dormant
like
for like 5 years and then
Fe-
let somebody else take it over.
Gears of War kind of went the different direction, where 4 and 5 have kind of been these interesting new takes that have been doing fairly well with the franchise.
Yeah,
Right, I
that
think they did
franchise
better than,
evolved well.
You get to Gears of War 3 or whatever, but then they did Judgment, which wasn't loved, and then they did 4, which was better, and then 5 I only heard good things about. So
5 was a great game. It really was.
I have it downloaded still. I've never started it. I feel bad.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like even the praise around it, like no one seems to complain about where that series went. Halo,
Yeah,
on the other
Everybody
hand.
complains about Halo.
I'm a little bit, so this is the last thing I'm going to say about Halo. I'm a little bit concerned because not just because of the way it looks, which we already kind of beat to the ground, but because it's going to be the first entry in the series that is open world.
Yeah.
And it's from a developer that I don't necessarily have a whole lot of trust in.
Yeah.
And they didn't do a great job making Halo games that were just like the first 3. And so to put confidence in their ability to make a great Halo game that also is a great open world game when those two things have never coexisted, concerns me a little bit. But I genuinely hope, and I as a lover of the series, I genuinely hope that I am dead wrong. Because the last 2 games have honestly made me wish they would have ended the series with Reach, which was, I thought, tremendous. I know it's got its detractors, but I loved that game. And 4 and 5 were just not to the level.
No, I will replay Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach. I will not replay 4 and 5. I've not even reinstalled them since I deleted them.
Can we talk about some
agreed.
other stuff that was
Yes.
shown?
Yeah, we
So
probably should.
I saw Echo Generation, which is the turn-based RPG that takes place, what it looks like, in the real world.
Oh, the
With
Stranger
kids.
Things kind of game?
Yeah, Stranger Things sort of
that game looked
earthboundy.
cool.
I'm interested in that. I thought it was neat. Tell Me Why, which is Dontnod's new.
That's not for me.
I like their stuff, so it looks.
That's out soon. That's out in a month.
Yeah, are they doing it in bit pieces?
Episodic, yeah.
Yeah, fucking. So it's out. It won't be out for another year for me because I'm not sitting around waiting for their next episode. I hate that shit. The Gunk, which you mentioned earlier, which I love that.
I love
team's
Steam
other work.
World, if whatever they're making, I will play that game.
It's weird to see them working in 3D. I was surprised, but I'm excited to see what they come up with.
It's also
I'm
weird to
intrigued
see
by
them
that
working.
game.
It's also weird to see them working exclusively with the Xbox because not even all their regular games are on Xbox yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and
you go where
their
the money's
games
paid.
are on everything.
Yeah, so what? And I read somewhere that it is a full exclusive.
Stalker 2 is never coming out.
Well, if it does, it'll be in Game Pass. So
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's it has been talked about and it's not made by the original team.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people are expecting, but hey, it's a thing. The medium still looks interesting. I heard that they patented their dual screen thing where you get to see both in the current time and the spirit world or whatever.
I want to play that game. Yeah.
Hey, I'm interested in it. That's not a new mechanic.
No, it's not. But
it was just funny that it's patented. Is
that
it
game
though?
looks super interesting, and it's got the music of the Silent Hill composer.
Yeah.
and I'm 100% down with all of those things. I will play that
It
game.
looks weird. I'm in. That's an
Yeah.
easy way to get. I'm just going through. We've mentioned Avowed, Psychonauts 2. The Warhammer looked interesting. I'm kind of interested in 40K.
I
Dark
don't even
Tide.
know what that. I don't even know what that game is.
It's Fat Shark, so it's going to be like Vermintide.
Okay, I feel like I had enough Vermintide.
Yeah, but 40K. 40K.
I mean,
gets
it's the
horror
hint,
in space.
The hint that it was going to be like Vermintide is in the name, because isn't it called Dark Tide?
Yeah, it's called Dark
Yeah.
Tide.
Yeah, and Fat Shark's the same people that make Vermintide. So
I
my
also
guess is
can't help-
it's a 4-player shooter like that.
I also can't help but roll my eyes anytime a new Warhammer game is announced. I'm sorry. There's been as many bad ones as there've been good ones. So
that is fair, but at the same time, the Vermintide games were good.
And
They
I like the
I really
40.
didn't need more of them.
I like the
You know?
40K universe a lot more than just standard Warhammer, because they get into the weird space horror stuff with like Space Hulk.
I mean,
And
I'll play it because it's in Game Pass.
Seeing that, I'm like, I kind of want to play that because it feels like it's going to be kind of like the Aliens Colonial Marines game that you don't have. That's kind of where, I mean, really, Space Marines is owned by 40K. That's a term that 40 like.
My favorite
created.
Warhammer game was the Gears of War clone. What was that one called?
Space Marine.
Space Marine. I love that game. That game was so
It's an
much
excellent
fun.
game. Yeah, it's a very underrated third-person shooter.
Yep.
And then the other one, the last one that I have, because there's a couple other games that had trailers drop this week that I want to talk about, but the other one was Crossfire X, which I've been waiting for so long. Which is the
Microsoft's
Remedy.
still trying to make people care about that game's multiplayer, and it is not good.
Nobody gives a shit about Crossfire, the multiplayer. I want to play the Remedy.
It
But
looked
that
like
one's-
it looked like that one. The single player is not going to be in Game Pass. Is that what it
No.
said at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah, so the way they worded that was poor because the single player is not in Game Pass, but you can play the multiplayer for free because it's free to play.
Yeah, that's why that's one of the reasons why they kept making the point throughout the broadcast. If you listen, they kept saying you can either get them in Game Pass or free to play.
Yep, because a couple of those games were free to play multiplayer games.
I've been
makes
waiting
me-
for that campaign to release for a long time because it's been in development forever. Like before Control was announced. So I want to see what they've been doing. And it'll be the first time they've worked first person, right?
Remedy?
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I can't think of a first person game. So, I mean, it's Remedy. You know, they could sell me anything at this point.
So that's the example of a developer that has earned trust before walking into a new a type of game.
Yeah, it's the only reason I give any shits about Crossfire X is because Remedy is making a
For
single
sure.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, you know, the same reason why I have confidence in Cyberpunk, even though it's first person.
Yeah, it's CD Projekt Red. They haven't made a bad video game yet.
Right.
So, yeah, 343. Take some notes. Y'all have made 2. They've both been bad. I was trying to think if there was anything else before we move on from that particular show, and I mean, Forza's Forza. It's a car game. It'd be fine.
It's good car porn.
It
I
is.
mean,
Forza's
like, if you
always
want-
good. I mean,
You want to see cars in high detail, that's the game now. So
yeah. I am more sold on what Microsoft is doing as opposed to what they're delivering. So like the all my games work, they work better. Game Pass, you know, hardware is super powerful, so all of even my old games are going to run good. But as far as next gen games go, I don't feel like either one of them has sold me on a next gen console yet. So if I am not able to afford a PS5 this fall, I'm okay with that. Because I'll play Spider-Man come spring when I buy one, you know. So, yeah, pandemic going on. People no jobs. These Sony and Microsoft being like, we'll kind of give you a reason to spend $500 this November.
Yeah.
Also, it's very, I don't know if you guys saw this, it's very interesting that Microsoft has kind of leaked the date because on the earnings call for Microsoft, somebody asked her about a new console, and they said yes this November. So.
Yep. Now, if only somebody could get the price out of them.
Yeah, that's coming in August. I'm almost guarantee you that we'll have both prices by the end of August. So.
Better.
I mean, I don't know how much it matters because like we saw the report that Sony has doubled their production, so there will be 10 million PS5s available by the end of the year. That should be plenty for the people who are going to buy it. I'm guessing we're going to see $500. I'm guessing the PS5 will be $500 for the disc, $450 without, and then the Xbox Series X will be $500 with the Lockhart being $300. That would be my guess right now. So. I don't know. Any other news before we move on, Anthony? You said you saw a couple.
So this is a game I've been following for quite some time. I think it's Ari and the Secret of the Seasons. They had a new trailer drop. It still looks great. It's a third-person, like a 3D platformer, but you can change the seasons. So, like, water freezes and stuff. It's very interesting how far that game has come since their early days, like visually even. It's coming out, I think, this year. Phantom Doctrine 2 had a trailer come out, which is weird because they're going to be a third-person shooter instead of a turn-based strategy game. I didn't really care for that turn-based strategy game. It was fine, but the gimmick in theirs was you never miss a shot, because if you can make a shot, like if you can see the enemy, you can make the shot, which I thought was a good idea until enemies were making impossible shots that they shouldn't have been able to make through like standing on sidewalks and shooting through a window on the same side of the street. But so it's interesting that they're changing the game entirely. And then there was a game called Sable that I saw a trailer for this week, which kind of looks like Ico.
But you said Sable has been around for a while. They announced that like last year.
Oh wow, okay, I've not seen a trailer for it before. It's got a very unique art style, like Mobius, and I kind of love it. But
that
it's
one
not
is
coming out until next year.
Yeah, that one is a launch exclusive for Xbox, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks amazing. So that was it, and then the Nintendo leaks came out.
When the fuck is Tunic gonna come out? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
That game feels like Cuphead on steroids because like they've announced it like 3 years ago and it's still not out.
Are we gonna talk about the Nintendo leaks?
I mean, it probably interests you because you're kind of into that stuff, but like having the source code for N64 games.
No, it's not the source code. I could give it because I'm never gonna do anything with the source code. What's interesting is that they kept almost everything. So not only do they have like the original Mel Blanc like clips that they were using as placeholders for Mario 64, they have the high-res version of all the dialogue said for Mario and Star Fox and everything. So now you can, and the joke, I'm not breaking this to anyone, I'm sure, but like you can hear "So Long Gay Bowser" in like glorious high definition instead of the compressed audio, where it's supposed to be "So Long King Bowser," but that is definitely not what he's saying.
Yeah, I listened to the audio clip this morning.
I don't hear King.
No, I don't hear King either, and it's Charles. It's okay. It'd be alright.
But it's man, it's fascinating to see that they kept all that stuff, because like my friend pointed out, like they're one of the few. Square Enix had to remake Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 from the ground up because they just got rid of everything. And Nintendo held on to all this stuff. Now it's shitty, as my friend another friend pointed out, like that they've held on to this stuff, and this kind of their payment is that they get hacked and the stuff leaks out. But it's really fascinating just how far they would take, like how much they kept and all the design documents and everything. Like I don't know, it's fascinating. I'm sure it fascinates other people. Luigi was originally supposed to be in Mario 64. There's a model that's partially made.
We knew that back in '95.
No, you didn't. It was a rumor still.
Because I knew it. Though. I believed it.
Okay, well that's great that you believed it, but you didn't have any proof.
Shut up! You were like 2.
I was 3.
Okay, I was close. I just guessed.
So, but
I was 16, motherfucker.
Say that like you're proud of it, but you're just gonna feel old in 4 seconds anyway. So it's like, I
All
don't
I
know
gotta do, all I gotta do is walk to the kitchen and I feel old, Anthony. It's okay.
But yeah, no, it's fascinating. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, I think this is a continuation of the leaks that brought us all the Pokemon leaks as well. There's a couple in there as well for Pokemon, but it's just weird to see how far they took an idea before going, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, well, they should use all that to remaster Mario 64.
Well, they should do a lot of stuff with it. Like, hey, what if you did add Luigi to the original Mario 64 instead of just the DS version?
All right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple emails. First one's from Iwakara. Strap in. Hey, yo, it's Iwakara, boys. What a crazy time it is right now. This is a time in our lives we will look back on and tell our kids about. Hopefully we make it through this crazy time and hope it never happens again. My daughter is 3 years old.
My kid's also living through it, so I don't have to tell him.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think they fully grasp it, though. I don't know. Explaining to her not being able to leave the house is heartbreaking. Especially, usually Mom works weekends, so my daughter and I would go to the zoos, theme parks, and adventures, but telling her they're closed and we can't go really sucks. On the positive side, though, I got her into the Switch, playing Super Mario Odyssey, using the left joystick and camera kind of adjusts itself, jump and throwing hat buttons. Pretty good for a 3-year-old, I reckon. So I'm happy. I'm a happy dad right now. Haha. Also, I've been showing her lots of clips of Hollywood Hogan, all his entrances with the NWO spray painted belt. She loves it. She also has her own NWO belt, and we do the Wolfpack gesture. It's too cool, man.
Too sweet. Not too cool. Too sweet.
Nerds.
Too sweet.
Anyhow, last time I wrote in, I started a podcast. I have now put that to an end. It was a good experiment and a learning lesson for me. Convincing my wife I need 2 to 3 hours away to record one is a thing, but editing and creating graphics whenever you can as a parent and full-time work is difficult. So I started a new podcast that is here to stay. It's with my mates and we talk pop culture, tech, games, and all. As a 10-year listener and supporter of the show, I think it's cool to plug it. It's called What Bros Think. We'd love to have you guys just listen to one episode and let us know what you think. We went all out and bought Blue Yetis. They're an awesome plug-and-play microphone.
I'm sorry, it's just too funny because as you're talking, the button just keeps getting louder.
He's really getting into it, man. They're an awesome plug-and-play microphone for beginners. Anyhow, boys, it's not an Iwakara email without an Iwakara question. So Rockstar has finished GTA 6, and the working title is just GTA 6. So they've come to you for $1 million to give GTA 6 a subtitle. You're not allowed to preview the game. You get no help. You just get $1 million for the title. If I had to do it, I know they need an attractive title to sell copies, so I'd call it GTA 6, Heavy Hanging Boobies in My Mouth Edition. What would you guys go with? Thanks.
Pretty sure they'd have to not have. They have to have a sticker over that in the store.
They don't really do subtitles anymore.
No, that's the reason why I can't think of one. And when they did, it was usually just where it was.
Yeah.
I'd call it GTA 6. It's got online, motherfucker.
Yeah,
That's
just
what people...
GTA Online, and then in small letters underneath N6.
And 6.
I would love to see them. I would love to see them go back in time again and do like another Vice City style game in the 80s.
Wish they'd remaster the 2 PSP games to be better.
I know
especially Vice City Stories.
I know Ryan would get mad at me, but I wish they'd remaster Vice City to be better.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Antonio sends an email. His email's entitled N4G Radio. Sup, guys, I'm not jumping on the hate train, but I do have a concern with Halo. Obviously, COVID has been a huge monkey wrench, and 343 isn't even sure they're going to be able to roll out a beta like they thought they would. To me, that is not a great sign. Another thing 343 noted is that ray tracing will be patched in after the game has already been released. I honestly feel like this game would have been delayed if it wasn't launching alongside the new Xbox. And it makes me think the game will be coming in extremely hot. I also think Sony is overestimating how many PS5 consoles they think they will sell in regards to the manufacturing increase. Right now, you can't find any iteration of an Xbox One and PS4 or a Nintendo Switch. I think people getting over $600 a week from unemployment has played a huge role in that it isn't going to be the case in a week or two, and there's no telling what this country is going to look like come November.
All certainly valid points.
Yeah. Not to harp on that part of the world, but it is very discerning that on Friday that ends for a lot of people.
Yep. Let's hope that something changes in that.
I hope so. I do not have confidence that it will change.
I do not either.
It's also horrible that it also ends on Friday and rent is due on Monday. For a lot of people, you know. So, I mean, maybe he's right. I mean, what are we going to look like in, 100 days to the election?
Ish.
So, November, new consoles come out. Christmas, Thanksgiving. Where's this world going to be? 3 months. In 3 months, it'll be Halloween. And we'll be right on the cusp. 10 million PS5s. You think there are 10 million people that can afford one come November?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, maybe worldwide, maybe. I have no idea though. You're right. Like it's something I never even thought about. Like not not affording part, but like, are they thinking in the terms of? Like, and Tony makes a good point. Like, are they thinking of the terms of right now, where people still do have money to some extent?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at this thing about to end come the end of this week, and we've all kind of gotten accustomed to the way the world is right this minute. But as of next week, this world's going to be very different. We're watching people go back into lockdown as opposed to coming out of lockdown. So,
yep.
I don't know, man. It's terrifying. I sit in a place of privilege where I'm not overly concerned with what's going to happen to me, but I look at a lot of people that do not have that luxury.
Yep.
And I guarantee you the last thing on their mind is a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the less money that's out there in people's pockets, the more desperate people are going to get. And the last thing in the world we need right now is desperate people.
Yeah, we definitely don't need that. Although we could be looking at a happy time. Maybe by the time these consoles launch, we'll have a new leader of the free world and possibly a vaccine.
I don't know if it's going to be any better. It's going to be better, but I mean,
the vaccine,
I don't know if that's going to help.
The vaccine may or may not be ready by then.
I know, but I mean, it could be.
It could be,
and that would be very uplifting to say
for sure.
And as for the leader thing, I don't know how much that's actually going to help people that need it in that direct moment.
It'll make me feel real good.
Okay. All right, as long as you.
I'm just saying it'll lift a lot of people's spirits. Anthony is what I'm trying to say.
I didn't.
I'm not talking about the world's not going to change on November 5th or whatever the day. I get that.
No,
but
you got till February. He has enough time to ruin it.
January.
January. But still, like literally, if it happened, a lot of people would their mood would improve heavily.
Yeah, I don't want to bring it down, but I worry about what would happen if he still has power.
I don't want to talk about this. Isn't a political podcast, but
no, you're right. But I'm just saying it's a scary idea.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's do some tweets. We had a lot of tweets come in. One from last week. Greg wants to say, so I hear chasing. It's worded weird. So I hear stop chasing Fortnite from you guys, but Fortnite chased PUBG and Call of Duty and Apex Legends all chased Fortnite, and they all found success. seems as success while tough can be found. How can you say stop trying to these companies? Well, okay, first off, I'm going to tell you PUBG was around and that became a thing. Fortnite chased it. You say Call of Duty and Apex chased Fortnite. Call of Duty and Apex, I don't know if you recognize this, but they're backed by, I don't know, two of the biggest fucking companies in the world with endless amounts of money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there is that.
and within what has become Fortnite's core demographic,
Each of those have a holding.
they have seen small spikes and then fallen back off again.
Oh, also, I wanted to bring this up because I saw this tweet earlier. Remember that game? The reason this conversation came up last week, Rocket Arena.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw it on sale this morning for $9.99.
Yep. I mean, how
Not to
many
mention,
hero shooters?
I just want companies that have talented developers to look at other things they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's my
And
example.
selfishly, things that I actually care about. I'm not really a big fan of Battle Royale.
Well, here's
Yeah, I
my
hear you
example.
there.
How many people chased Overwatch when Overwatch became a Overwatch was just doing what TF2 basically established, sure, but everybody chased it in that moment and didn't really think of how can we make this better. It was how can we make this different enough to stand out, and that's not enough. And what was it, Paragon?
For every game that you can label that's a success, I can give you 5 failures.
Yeah,
That's why I say stop chasing it.
Show me a game that does, and this is subjective, but still, show me a game that does Battle Royale better than Fortnite, and I'll agree that people should continue trying to chase that unicorn.
I mean, look at Call of Duty. How many war shooters came out? Like Medal of Honor reestablished itself, tried to be Call of Duty, and failed. We haven't had one since.
No, and we probably won't. And did you notice that last year's Call of Duty did not have a Battle Royale?
And I mean, it's a lot of. There's a lot. Well, I mean, now Call of Duty Battle Royale, sort of, with whatever the mode is called, but it's free to play.
You
Right?
saw the Overwatch community move to Valorant for about a month.
And that's our point. Like, so what? So this tweet is saying like, oh, they should chase it. Well, if you chase it and you fail, that could be the end of the studio and your job.
Yeah, look at the Amazon one. Remember the Amazon Overwatch clone?
Yep.
It was de-released.
It's that's the reason why you have all these talented people, and then you chase something that's already been established, and you could lose your job, and like all these talented people are now separated instead of just doing something unique, or not even necessarily unique, but different from what everybody's playing at the moment. Like it's there. We had the issue with 3D platform point where a bunch of studios made 3D platform. It's always a constant thing, and instead of trying to find a need and fill it, they're looking at what's popular. And like the reason and the reason why Fortnite did well after PUBG was because PUBG wasn't updating fast enough. And Fortnite came in, was more kid friendly, and just kept doing update after update after update.
Now they got Aquaman.
Yeah, and they had Batman before, I'm pretty sure. And
They have Black Manta now.
Yeah, Black Manta was added to the what other game could get away doing an Aquaman promotion in July of 2020?
But it's just that's the reason why Fortnite was successful. Plus, it already had an established brand because Fortnite Save the World came out.
Which nobody played.
Right, but the Call of Duty, the people playing Call of Duty, Battle Royale are the same people that be playing Call of Duty. Like, yeah, you have some new people, but it's going to be mostly Call of Duty players still. Like, it's not bringing in a new audience necessarily. I know the new one that's free does a better job of that, but like Black Ops 4 wasn't like the big success they wanted it to be. This has been a consistent issue of people You know, you had Resident Evil clones for a long time. Like everything that's been popular, studios close because of this. That is the biggest takeaway. It's not so much necessarily people playing the games that's the issue. It's that if they don't do well, studios can close. If they don't do well to the expectations, Lego Dimensions, Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Disney closed up shop. They were doing well, but it wasn't enough. You chase something that's popular too, right?
Especially when you chase something that's already done well, because not only do you have to make a game, you have to make a game that's better than the one that's got all the players, because you're trying to pull players from it. And people, especially with games like this, they have time and experience and downloadable content and all that stuff already wrapped up in that ecosystem. And so the game has to be even that much better to pull them out of that ecosystem.
It's funny that this week we had that Balan Wonderworld and that other, I don't like the main game, Jet Set Radio clone, whatever it's called, right? Which is now, I think, the second one Naganuma's done music for. But he, everybody's like, well, this is what we've wanted. But that only works because Sega's not doing theirs, right? Like, if they'd have to they'd have to be so much
Capcom
better.
did it to Inafune?
Yeah. Exactly.
Here's Mega Man with Mighty Number 9. Nah, Capcom was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, like it, that's a bit different because they're not out at the same time, really. Like there was a good
but they inevitably killed it immediately.
Right. Like there's no future for Mighty Number 9, not only because of the issues that Mega Man's back.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's a lot of stuff. Like I can't think about how many Mortal Kombat clones there were.
Oh god, there's so many of them, and most of them were just god awful.
Yeah. Even if they were good, they're not Mortal Kombat great. So it's just it's that I always have the issue with. Is that's the reason why I don't like companies chasing this, especially with multiplayer stuff, which is so fickle and can be over quickly. Like with a single player experience, at least you have, some life where somebody might discover and be like, oh, this was really good version of this. Wasn't as good as Zelda, but it was like Zelda, Darksiders and stuff, which isn't Zelda quality, but it's still very good. But, if they went up against Zelda directly, it would have been slaughtered. So it's stuff like that where it's like there's a difference between homage and taking the best parts of and directly competing against the person that's already established and is doing it amazingly.
All right. Jeremy says, due to a long move from Arizona to Idaho, I haven't had much time for gaming. In the last month. How long have you guys had to go without games due to life or adult stuff? Also, thanks for keeping me company through northern Arizona and most of Utah.
Probably a month at the most.
I think when I bought my house, I went like a week and a half without playing any games, and it sucked because I had an early copy of Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really wanted to be playing that.
Uncharted 2, which is still probably the best one in that series.
Oh, yeah, but after coming off the first one that I liked, I was man, I'm super excited for this one. And I had it early. I had it like 2 weeks early. And I was like, I need to play. I need to get. The amount
of hype around that game was, this is the best game ever. And there you are.
It's the first thing I pulled out of my U-Haul truck was my TV and my PS3. I was like, let's do this. Wombat, you got a time?
Yeah, it's probably either right after my son was born or when we bought our house. Because we spent a month when we bought our house before we moved in, just painting and cleaning and getting all ready.
I remember what happened when my wife went into labor. With our son, I was playing Just Cause 2. And she was playing World of Warcraft. That I will never forget that for as long as I live. It just makes me laugh. Real Shogun Beats has a mini rant on Twitter here. He says, gamers are never happy. Microsoft showed us a very diverse group of games with very odd messaging, especially when your game is not ready for prime time. They need to delay Halo. Gamers need to chill out, and it's plenty of things that, to play. The system will be good. Balan Wonderworld is not for me, but I'm happy it exists. Somebody will get into gaming because of it. Looks like it has a great message. What I've seen over the last week is a bunch of toxic crybabies crying about games they don't care about. Halo is a reflection of Phil Spencer's leadership. 343 cannot afford to have another bad game. Boy, we went over that.
Yeah.
Why would they show a 4 to 6 month old build of a game running on a PC when the game comes out in 4 months? I know Phil wants to launch the system with Halo, but he needs to delay the game. Sorry guys, rant over. Love the show, by the way. I started playing Dragon Age Inquisition again, and did you know it's more than just the hinterlands in this game? Wow.
It's amazing.
I know, right? That game. There's so much more of that game. I mean, he's not wrong in his rant. People tend to focus so heavily on negative aspects, and even when they criticize, they don't criticize well. They want to turn it into a schoolyard argument about whose box is better, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's easier to criticize than to talk about good things too. So.
Oh, absolutely. It takes so much less effort to be a negative asshole than it does to be positive about anything. And it is frustrating. I get Anthony's thing. Like, I criticized the Xbox show as soon as it was over, and it was just like the PlayStation fanboys that hate me came out so hard and were like, see, I told you. And I'm like, that doesn't change my mind. I'm still buying a Series X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. It's frustrating. Mr. Fantastico says, at this point, it's not about Xbox trying to convince PlayStation fans. It's trying to justify why you're not a Game Pass member if you're a gamer.
That's true.
I will say that looking at people, because it was even on Reddit where people were like, all these influencer types, because none of us are. They were like, "Oh, Game Pass is the best deal," and it was like they were just signing up for. I'm like, "There's no way you're fucking just signing up for this. Like, get the fuck out of here."
Do that dollar thing.
Yeah, well, it's like I saw Greg Miller had posted about it. Like, you're signing up for the first time, Greg? Come on.
He also said he'd never played through Halo. I was like, you know what? This is why I don't trust your opinion. If you've never played Halo, and you're like, even if you didn't like it, that's fine. But Halo was like a cultural touchstone.
At least one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to have played through at least one of them. And quite honestly, for somebody to have not played through, somebody in this industry and steeped in gaming to have not played through CE is crazy to me.
Yeah, that'd be like saying you didn't play Super Mario World or you didn't play, Uncharted.
Super Mario 64.
Yeah. Like, really? You didn't play that game?
Well, Halo 3 was an event. I didn't even have an Xbox. And
you've heard me criticize the shit out of John because he's never played through a Mega Man game, and you know what? I will continue.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
John has never played through a Mega Man game.
Well, fuck him. I can't believe that. I knew he didn't play through Chrono Trigger, and I can't give him too much shit because I still have it and I barely played it. But like, wow, not a
Mega Man game is like an hour and a half. Come on, John.
Yeah. Oh shit. I mean, there's a bunch of different Mega Man games too. There's one Chrono Trigger. I get how you miss it, but like,
there's like 37 Mega Man games.
Probably more than that. But yeah. I think John will pick Mega Man Soccer first and be like, it wasn't great. Like, fuck you.
Mr. Fantastico says, I quit Destiny after the first game, but announcing the partnership with Bungie for all past DLC and upcoming DLC in November, I'll run the campaign now. I feel like them stealing the player base is going to go unnoticed. Bungie having cross-save makes Xbox the place to play. Yeah, that was kind of an underrated announcement in that.
I was going to say, that was kind of one of those announcements that flew under the radar, but probably should have had more hype than it did. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, if you have Game Pass, you have all of Destiny too.
This is the slow work back in having Bungie back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll just buy them back because they did split. Yeah. They did split from Activision.
Let me just take that Destiny and here's Halo back.
Well, that's what'll happen is in 5 years, Microsoft will buy Bungie and then they'll release Halo Reboot But developed by Bungie.
undoing the work of 343.
343 will just become a support studio at that point.
Oh, jeez.
Oh shit. All right, here we go. Time for the Dustin tweets. You ready?
Yep.
Is Microsoft even trying to sell their system or just Game Pass? We kind of
hit on that.
there's no reason to get a Series X until year 3, so it looks like I'll be getting a PS5 right away. I mean, if $500 is what you want to spend to play Spider-Man, that's cool. Tony hasn't brought up his review of A Way Out
To
lately.
play,
has
hold
he?
on, wait.
Go ahead.
Can't let that just go past. To play Spider-Man and also the third-party games that are releasing this year.
I mean, you can play them on PS4, right?
No, not
Yeah,
necessarily.
But if I'm going to upgrade to a new system this year, then
But
I mean,
can
yeah,
play
if you are
a system that has an exclusive that I want and the other third-party stuff.
Hold on, but before the PlayStation guys come after me, if you were going to upgrade,
Sure.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't going to upgrade, I have no reason to buy either console. I really don't.
Sure.
You know, one game hasn't sold a system for me since Mario 64. That was the last one game that sold a system for me. Tony hasn't brought up his review of A Way Out lately. Has he finally moved on, or is he going to brood over it forever?
it's funny because there's an irony to this tweet.
Because you talked about it last week, right?
I don't give a shit. When I talked about it, that's all I have to say. No, I talked about it definitely 2 weeks ago, too. It's just, I find it funny because it's like he's complaining about my complaint, and I could say the same thing about Dustin tweets. So it's just, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, I'm having a good time. I've laughed a lot today. Made me feel good. Like I'm gonna go buy an Atari this fall. That's the real game system.
You should.
Right?
You know, I almost messaged you at one point and said if we get this on it so I can tear it apart.
We're not gonna get anything. Like, remember when the Polymega was coming out in January, February, March, April, May, June, July?
I actually trust them, which is weird because I didn't originally. But I've come to trust them that they want to make a quality product, and so they are not rushing it out the door.
Hey, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Unlike Atari, which was originally supposed to have games, but then now is just a Linux PC, I think, or something like that. Like the sandbox mode is just a PC. I don't know. The whole thing is weird. That and the Intellivision Amico.
Oh, that's coming up next. Hold on to that.
Good.
Reheated KFC is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. I would never reheat KFC. I eat it cold out of the
all
fridge.
this talk over Xbox and PlayStation, and no one is even mentioning the big console this fall, the Amico.
Okay, now I get it.
The Amico. I love Tommy Tallarico. I think he's a great guy, but
is he though? Because like I
met him in person and he was super nice.
His take on stuff is pretty fucked up, and he keeps like I don't usually hold people accountable for who they work for because I mean everybody on this podcast deals with me, and I wouldn't for the life of me have them judge based on my own person. But like he's still working with he's saying it's all family friendly and stuff, but Doug TenNapple's out there being Doug TenNapple. I don't know
who Doug TenNapple is.
The creator of Earthworm Jim.
Okay.
And like he's got some pretty wrong thoughts on things. And so Tommy's out there going, this is a family console. How dare Nintendo have stuff like murder and rape? Pretty sure the murder might have been added by me, but he definitely mentioned a rape. How dare they have that on their console? This console's family friendly. And then, you know, the creator of Earthworm Jim's out there spewing hate and stuff. So it's just one of these, and then you hate everybody that asks questions of Tommy about this console is a hater, and it's just is the most unprofessional thing I've seen since I've been on this podcast.
I mean,
I my own self there, but I mean, seriously, like imagine me with all my terrible emotional outbursts running a company. This is kind of
I mean, I don't see like I have legitimately got to the point where I just assume everybody's a piece of shit. Like did you see the Ray Park stuff this weekend? Holy
Well,
shit!
hold on. The Ray Park stuff wasn't so much a piece of shit. It was a why would you post that?
You didn't read the whole story then.
Oh, okay.
Go
Then.
find some messages and emails from his wife and his daughter, and maybe you think twice about him not being a piece of shit.
All right.
Dustin also says, anyone else excited for Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes? Never heard of it. What is that? Anybody know what that is?
No clue.
Okay. Anthony, you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of words there.
Anyone find any good demos in the Xbox Summer Game Fest? I tried a few, and the only one that sticks out for me is Hellpoint, since it's a Souls-like.
I mean, a lot of the stuff I'd already played on the Steam one, so I don't fully know.
I downloaded like 3 of them. I like that Shaolin side-scrolling beat-em-up. That was kind of neat. I forget. It's Shaolin something, or Monkey something. I don't remember what it's called. I tried that game where you're floating through the fields holding hands, picking up apples.
Okay, yep.
That was okay. It played really well. I tried one other game. I don't remember what it was. I meant to download Skatebird. But
Yeah, like I said, Jacob played that and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to download that. I think that's the only. I kind of went through the demos. I think the problem with them is that there was too many of them, and I didn't know what to download. So I kind of would go into the description of it and read it, and if it sounded like a game I was interested in, I might download it. I don't know. I'm glad Gambus Khan appeared in 2 episodes as the world's biggest cock tease. Since he's been MIA again, while everyone thought he would be on at least every other episode. I want to put out there that I've talked to Jason. He's in kind of a bad place right now, so that's why he hasn't been back on. It hasn't because he doesn't want to. So, Dustin wants to know when Jay is going to join the podcast full time again. Probably never. There were also a lot of things going on behind the scenes on that one too.
Yeah.
Curtis says, am I too late? Do you think next gen will be worth the wait and hype?
I hope so.
I think if you buy one this fall, you will be...
I don't think you'll regret your purchase, but I think you'll be sitting there waiting for the reason why.
Yeah, I think
longer. But I mean, that's every
console. It's just the older we get, the smarter we come to realize that.
The only real reason why I think that the PS4 and PS3 looked as big as it did was that the PS4 could actually put out 1080p for most games, unlike the PS3, which would only do 720 most of the time, and so you didn't have, and it had better. But if you look between the Xbox One's early games and late Xbox 360, yeah, they're a bit muddier, but not as big of a difference as the PS3 to PS4. But again, you were waiting a while before you had a reason why. I know that it was a little bit quicker on the Xbox with like Sunset Overdrive and stuff, but was that really need to be next gen? I don't think so. Don't know. So it's the reality of all consoles, right? I feel like you don't get that game that says I need this anymore until a year.
Except for the Nintendo 64.
Well, I was going to say the Nintendo 64. PlayStation 2, where you
PlayStation 2's launch games were terrible, but it was the DVD player.
Well, that too, but I mean, like the Dreamcast, like you at least visually had something. But we were, exponentially growing at that time, and we are now at the point where we cannot do that anymore. Visually,
yeah, no. The people that are going to brag about these console graphics at launch are going to be people who are really digging into small nuance. There's not going to be a game that says, "Oh, I couldn't do this on last gen at launch." It's not going to happen.
It feels like it's, you're splitting pixels every time we have the new launch now, like. We're with the difference between PS4 Pro and PS4 isn't as big, and now technically, if you're comparing against PS5 against PS4, sure, but like if you're comparing to the last console they put out, which is the PS4 Pro, in comparison to the PS5, is the jump going to be that much larger? And the answer is no, it's not going to be as large as the jump from PS2 to PS3. It's just not going to happen. Or
No.
the Xbox to Xbox 360.
No. It's not going to be that big. I think another one of the reasons that I had such an issue with Spider-Man is I think Spider-Man could have been done on PS4.
I think you'll see. I think this is the first time where you'll probably the change more so than see it with loading and stuff. Like if the SSD works like they say they do, which I have reason to doubt, you will feel that over a base model PS4 Pro.
Oh fuck yeah! If my loading time's cut in like fucking 80%, hell
it's
yeah.
also important
Yeah.
to note that people can install SSDs into their console.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
not these SSDs.
not
I don't
those.
think you understand the difference
No, I
between an SSD and an NVMe. I mean, that's
And no,
pretty
I'm just saying. Like again, I don't know how much you're going to feel it with. Like again, it's based on optimization to some extent too. So
Sure.
again, but you're going to feel that if all you've ever used is a base PS4.
oh god, yeah. If
You're
all you
going
ever
to
use is
feel-
the default storage, you're going to be in for a wild
Yeah.
ride.
So there's that portion of it where like how fast does that city load in Spider-Man in comparison to the standard PS4 version, which I felt loaded fairly quickly anyways. But like, how much faster can this load? And then you have the pop-in, right? Like that'll reduce pop-in, so you may start to see it that way. I just don't think you're going to see it in like texture-wise stuff.
Yeah, no. Big Papa says, has it actually been confirmed that PS5 will play the majority of PS4 games? For me, this is a must, and is one of the reasons I'm actually thinking of moving to Xbox next gen. My backlog is ridiculous, and I do not want to have another console under my TV. I don't know. Sony has been really
Everybody's
bad.
Tight-lipped, about
Very
certain
cagey about that.
Yeah, I don't like where Microsoft said everything except Kinect games will work. Sony's been kind of like, well, they should work, right?
My poor Kinect games.
Oh, fuck the Kinect games. I don't nobody give a shit about those.
How am I supposed to play this horrible Steel Battalion game?
Hey, that's the last Fable game that came out officially, right?
The Journey? Fable the Journey.
The fucking horse carriage game. Shit. Oh, Kinect is such a fucking piece of shit. Oh. I don't know. I think Sony needs to get out there and be like, hey, your library is going to work minus, 5% of games or something. I don't know. Give it something.
Yeah.
So. Real Shogun Beat says, do we have an official launch lineup for both consoles? No.
Well, the launch lineup for Xbox Series X is everything you own right now and a little.
Yeah, I think Microsoft was claiming like 60 some new games at launch. I don't know. But we don't have an official one. I'm assuming we'll get that closer to release. The difference is the Xbox Series X launch lineup will be available also on Xbox One. There is that. Oh, shit. Mark says the show needs a full-time Gambus Con. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I mean, I know I didn't talk to Jason a lot, but I actually miss him. He's such a nice person. God damn it.
He is, and I do miss him, and I feel bad, that he's in a not great place right now. So
Yeah, it's you got to take breaks. I totally understand, trying to get stuff focused. I tried to do that on this show, and I've clearly had mental breakdowns on this show.
I mean, those are fun too, right?
I mean, they're fun for everybody else if you like listen to drama, but necessarily having them on, it's not a great thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Last week comes from Steve Wright. Sorry, not Steve.
I was gonna say I didn't know he was a fan.
Spilled spot remover on my dog, and now he's gone. Sorry. I'm getting slap happy. We're like 2 hours in.
He's so good.
He is wonderful. Do you think 2K will back off the $70 games if no other publisher raises prices?
No.
Yeah, because there's only one NBA game, so
No, because they're the ones that'll sell you that NBA game and then still sell you microtransactions inside. They have no qualms about being the most expensive game on the market.
Yeah, with Ubisoft came out this week and confirmed that their games are only $60
For the time being.
For the time being, yes.
Yes. I mean, it makes sense, like, especially if you're going to sell, like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla and it's going to be the...
Smart delivery.
Thank you. Smart delivery version. Like, why would you charge more for the next gen version just giving it away for... Like,
yeah, I would just go buy the Xbox One version.
If I'm correct, when the PS3 version of like Black Flag came out, the price of the PS3 version was $10 less than the PS4 version.
You
I
might
don't
be
remember
right.
if that's the case or not.
Well, it was an extra $10 to upgrade. I know that.
You might be right. I
But
don't
I think it
remember.
may have released at $59 here in Canada in comparison to the $69 that newer games were selling at. So
Oh, goodness.
before they became $79. So yeah, it's it makes sense to not sell your games if you're not going to have if you're going to have the automatic upgrade. The only one that automatically upgrades for NBA 2K is the $100+ Kobe Bryant version. And that one's the same price across the board. So I respect them at least not charging you to upgrade more, but at the same time, if you buy the current gen version, then got a new console, that's another, $70.
Yeah.
So
That is all of the tweets. If you want to tweet us at N4G Podcast. If you want to shoot us an email, it's podcasts@ztgd.com. You can follow me at ZTGD. You can follow Ryan at Wombat RP on Twitter.
you were doing it right. I don't know what you're.
I don't. My brain went somewhere else, and I don't. It's fine.
Add an L to it in the wrong place.
Also, just to let y'all know, we put our show on YouTube last week. So if you enjoyed that, let us know. I will continue to do it for the time. It does take a little extra work to do that, but I'm okay doing it if everybody enjoys that. Also, we're on Spotify now, bitches. So if you load up your Spotify, you can follow our podcast on Spotify. So subscribe. Click that like button. Whatever that shit is. I don't know. So there you go. More places to listen to this terrible podcast.
Oh, jeez.
But here we are. I was thinking about this the other day. We've started this show at the launch of the Xbox 360. And here we are.
Wii, right? Wasn't the Wii the first one that we covered?
We were talking about, it was right after the 360 had launched when we started, because we were talking about Dead Rising. Like on the first episode.
Yeah, because the 360 launched in November, right, of 2005, and we started this in August of 2006.
That is correct.
So
our first launch we covered was the PS3, actually, because I was the only one that bought it at launch.
Yes.
We're talking about squinting at Dead Rising on your old tube television?
I had an HD TV.
Well, laddie fucking da.
I also had an HD TV back then, Anthony.
All right, well, all right. Then I will say I held on to a tube television for a long time. I still have two. Had one for a long time, and I was.
Weren't you like 12 when Dead Rising came out?
Give me a second.
You shouldn't have been playing that game at 12.
Yeah, true story.
Boy, I played The Getaway at like 8, so or whatever it was. Then it came out 2006.
Yeah, Dead Rising came out in 2006.
I was 14. All right.
Wow.
I was so. There you go. I feel old now.
It's funny. It's funny that I thumb my nose at that now, but I was playing Doom when I was like 8.
Hold on. I have to look up The Getaway now.
It's different because I'm
just struggling with the fact that he was 14 when we started the show.
Yeah. Don't. I
So
wish you hadn't
old,
brought
Ken.
that up now. Thanks for that.
I was 10, by the way, when The Getaway came out, and that's the first time I.
Ken, we are aging at this point.
God bless. I'll be 41 this year.
Still like video games. Ooh.
I'll be 39 this year.
Oh, you're right
Next
on
month.
the cusp of that big 4-0.
That's right. Yeah, my wife just turned 40 this year, and then I'll be 40 next year.
I enjoy that my wife is older than I am. I'm not gonna lie.
Next year will be my last year of my 20s, so
I get to watch her hit those milestones before I hit them, so I can make fun of her for like 8 months before I turn.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "You're old. You're so old. You're like 40. I'm still in my 30s."
Yep.
Oh, anyway, that's the show. We forgot to do the joke. God damn it.
yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if you wanted to, so I was like, all right.
No, I'm all down for jokes. That was funny. But,
I guess we should explain. I was gonna come after last week where I was saying "fuck you, Craig." I was gonna come in with you, Craig.
yeah, because it just ended off.
But here we are. The joke is
But
done.
that's it. It's the end of the show.
Hold on.
What? God damn it. We were almost out of here.
One more plug for a good listener. All right. He sends us emails. He makes me feel uncomfortable with everyone he writes. So the podcast is What Bros Think.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Hey, can we get Craig the fuck out of here?
Craig needs to get the fuck out of here. No food this week. All right. Peace out, bitches.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. $0.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Captain Con.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
I always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.